Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chawanne Burns. Please click that subscribe button. Today we're going to talk about what is left over in the EIDL program. Yesterday I dropped a video answering some of your questions to my last video. So on Friday, SBA decided to shut their system down and it stopped everyone from applying for the EIDL loan in the EIDL advance. And on that message, the system was under maintenance, and they will put up notification once the system is back up. This is classic for the SBA. They're not being transparent once again. They were taking the system down only because they have exhausted the EIDL advance program, and it let the public think that, okay, I could still apply for this advance. But on yesterday evening on Twitter, SBA tweeted saying they will no longer be accepting application for the advance. That money has already been allocated. Now, so today we are going to look at those numbers and what they have actually issued out to the small business owners. And there's a discrepancy here, because if you're saying that you've already allocated those funds, I'm assuming the people that's already applied and these funds are already allocated. So how come some people or most people have not received their advance or their loans? How does this affect you? And if you are still eligible for those funds that you already applied for, let's get started. So the information that I'm giving you today is readily available on the SBA.gov website. This report that I'm reading, also I will link it in the description section, is from July the 3rd, 2020. So it's about 7 days lag. And as of now, on the EIDL advance, the SBA has issued out $16.2 or $16.3 billion to approximately 4.9 million small business owners. So I did some rough calculations. On average, these advance amount is about $4,800. Okay, so what does this mean for you? I've been receiving comments in my some of my last couple of videos saying, hey, will I still get funding? I've already applied. What is going on with that? So SBA is saying, yes, you will be potentially receiving those funds from the SBA. So if you already applied for the EIDL grant advance monies, you are in the system and you are potentially will receive those funds. Lately, they've been running about 2 to 3 days, but it's not, SBA is really inconsistent, because some people will get their grant in 2 to 3 days, and some people won't even hear anything. Some people receive a portal in 1 to 2 days or 2 to 3 days and not receive the grant. Some people receive both. So there's really no rhyme to reason. There's really no correct answer. But I know Javita Carranza is under fire for the mishandling or misappropriation of these funds. We've been waiting for 90 freaking days already. So I mean, the economic reports are saying about 40% of businesses will be shut down by December. So we have a lot of issues going on with America. We have a lot of issues because of the non-leadership. We have a lot of issues because the non-leadership, and they're putting it on to the states to handle it separately, but some of the governors are not handling it. It's getting really out of control. And you know who's suffering? People like you and I. Now they want to open the schools back up, and they're basically saying, oh, we're going to put these on the responsibility on the teachers. And it's like, no, why should the teachers be, they got to worry about their health and worry about 30 other students' health? That's just ridiculous. So the federal government has failed us once again, putting us in a situation where they're shutting us down because they didn't handle it properly in the first place. Okay, and then we have the stimulus checks. The stimulus checks, we haven't seen. Now, I said we're going to talk about the EIDL program and the PPP, but it all goes hand in hand. Small business owners, if we shut down, hey, we don't have any jobs. Stimulus checks, we need our stimulus checks because we're not making any money. You know, our employees, we can't call our employees back to work because we're shut down again. Now, and so the stimulus checks, they're debating on how much should the American public get for stimulus check. Hell, $1,200 is not going to do anybody any good. I mean, the average rent is probably $1,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment. Now, why would you give someone $1,000 and then take away the pandemic unemployment because you want to incentivize people going back to work? But if they have no work to go to because lack of funding and lack of the mishandling of the leadership in our government today, because they shut us down again, what are we to do? Okay, so it all intertwines with one another. If you can't get funding for your business, you might be filing bankruptcy. You might be going out of business. And like I said, 40% of you will be out of business by the end of this year. I mean, it's sad to say, but that's where we're at right now. And I have no answers for that. But my only answer is for you to stay diligent and stalk your congressman, stalk your local SBA, and demand that you want funding. You want to save your small business, even though they might not care about your small business, but make them care. Like I said, stalk them. Stalk your local congressman, stalk your local senate, your senator, your state senator. Call the SBA office, stalk them, and demand that you receive help and funding. Especially if you're one of those people applied in March, April, 2 months. I have some people that watched me apply 2 months ago and they have not received the funding. And this is very serious. You're playing with people's lives. While you're up there, you have a job. The American people, taxpayer, pays your salary. And so you get paid. The American government doesn't shut down. They get a check regardless. It's really upsetting. I'm really pissed off about this shit. California, of course, they have the most. California has 4 million businesses in their state. They received 716,000 advances, a total of about $2.2 billion for that state. New York was 392 businesses. So they're about a half of the amount of California. About $1.1 billion was issued out to New York. Then you have Texas. Texas, 432,000 businesses received about $1.5 billion in advances. Arizona received about $273 million worth of funding. About 82,000 businesses benefited from that. Michigan, I like doing Michigan because Michigan is my home state. We've received about $396 million, totaling about 110,000 businesses received funding. Michigan, I think Michigan has about 1.4 million businesses in it. Illinois and Michigan is about the same, but Illinois received twice the amount of funding. Illinois had 252,000 businesses that received funding, about $1.2 billion of funding that was issued to Illinois. That's a vast discrepancy. That's one reason why I made that video of the PPP and the EIDL program last week, because a lot of people are not receiving the information that they should receive, that this funding is out there. So if you know any small businesses, let your people know that this funding is out there. Now they can't take advantage of the EIDL program for the advances, but they could still take advantage of the PPP. They're still funding in that, and they're still funding in the loan program. Put in the comment section if you apply for the EIDL loan advance and have not received your advance within 2 to 3 days. That was written in a law. That was one of the problems. They said they was received advances in 2 to 3 days, and they haven't been doing that. It's a 50-50 chance that you will receive your funding in 2 to 3 days. If you haven't, I would suggest for you, and you already applied for the advance and haven't received the advance, I would suggest for you to contact the SBA office and tell them, hey, I know I was supposed to receive the advance in 2 to 3 days. I have not received that funding yet. If they try to issue a funding, one of the reasons it will be that they rejected the funding is because your bank information is not correct. So let's transition to the loans. The loans with the EIDL program, there were about $134 billion worth of loans. Now, this report is from July the 3rd, which was last week. So they usually upload a new report every Tuesday or Wednesday for the prior week. So $134 billion worth of loans that were issued out. Approximately 2.2 million businesses received those loans. I did a rough and dirty calculation. About the average loan size has to be about $63,000. We don't know if it's $63,000 because, it's based off of the 6 months operating costs. They're capping out, but some people need more than $150,000. Some people need $2 million. Depending on the size of their business, But since they capped it off, of course, your average loan size will be smaller. That necessarily doesn't say that it helps you. All it's saying is, hey, this is what we're issuing out. That's another big issue what they had during the Senate hearing, because Senator Cardin, he was really angry with Jovita Carranza and Steve Mnuchin, saying that you haven't used the EIDL program to this fullest potential, and the EIDL program is supposed to work hand in hand with the PPP, so they haven't been using that. So if we look at the EIDL program, we could see California, of course, is the most recipients of these loans, and they have about $25 billion of receipts of those loans. We have Texas, about $11.5 billion, 190,000 recipients received those loans. New York, $11.4 billion, 175,000 recipients for those loans. We also have Arizona, about $2.3 billion. Michigan, $3 billion, about 50,000 businesses received those loans. Illinois, $4.6 billion, about 83,000 recipients received those loans. Nevada, $1.5 billion, about 24,000 recipients receive those loans. If it's anybody in from Nevada, I know some of the industries or businesses in Nevada actually disqualify themselves, right, because of the nature of their business. So I wonder how those people are holding up. Just an inquiry. I'm asking for a friend. Let's see. So, it's just about normal. The only thing I do want to point out is, like I said, the EIDL program for the loans is moving very slow at turtle pace record, okay? Because we have, on July the 3rd, they issued out a report saying $134.6 billion was issued out to about 2.2 million recipients, okay? But if we look at the report on June the 27th, approximately $127 billion was issued out. Slow change, people. That's only about, what, $7 billion and 200,000 more businesses. So maybe they need to hire more people. What's going on, SBA? And they had, I think it was $600 million allocated to help distribute out. This is overhead costs to help distribute these funds. And yet we are still waiting. There's $367 billion that was dedicated to the EIDL program, loan program, just the loan portion. They've only issued out $134 billion. That is $200 billion left over. After we've been waiting, this is July. The country shut down in March. If you guys are not angry about this, you should be very upset about this. But you really have to know where your power is. So I encourage you all, vote. If your state hasn't been through the primaries yet, vote. Vote for your local people. Vote. Get out there and vote, because you need to hold these people accountable. We need to get people in there to get people to have the right people do the job. Not because, oh, I think this person is, is a friend of a friend. No, we need the right people in there, because this is the American government is like a company, and that's part of the reason why Trump was elected, because most people thought, oh, he's a successful business owner, but no, he's really not. And if you voted for Trump, more power to you. At least you voted. But what I'm saying is, he's not a business owner. But if you run your company like you've been running America, just think about it. If you run a company like you've ran America, what will happen to your company? Get out and vote. Vote for people that is for the people, and not for the 0.01% or the 0.1%. They have the duty and responsibility to make things right with the people, because they have the normal people working for them. So it's a duty for them to do that. Okay? When you in a position of power, it's your duty. You might not agree, but it's a duty to look out for other people. If much is received, much is required. You don't get to a higher level by yourself, because your company was built on the low-wage workers or the average American citizen. Like I said, I'm going back to what I said earlier during this video, because the mishandling or the mismanagement of America. You can't do something or not do something and it doesn't touch other somethings. In other words, you can't not enact or have an action and it doesn't have a reaction. And if you're doing that one thing that doesn't cause a reaction or affects change down the line, positively change, then you might not want to be doing that action. Okay? So we need to look at the actions of these people that's handling our system, our American system, the system that we live in. All right, I'm done for today preaching to you. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate you guys. And growth. I want to grow, and hopefully you find value added to my channel, to your life. Okay, I just don't be rambling. But even any way I can, but I just want to add value to your life. And I am sending all my good to you, and I will talk to you soon.